let's just sew whatever. All right, I am super excited to be making the Sarah backpack, like only backpack version. I can't wait. I actually have some hardware from Sonar that I think I'm gonna use. Their like corset rings. I'm not sure what she calls the big ones that like can squeeze around, but I think I might add these to the top to make it into a convertible crossbody if I want, and then that will omit some of the cut pieces as well. I am using a mid-weight printed vinyl, a printed waterproof cotton for my lining, and a luxe vinyl. I might need more of this. I think I have some on the shelf. But I'm really excited. I think these colors are gorgeous. This is Courtyard Green, and then this is Mint Meadow, I believe. So I'm definitely going to be making my straps out of this. I'm going to be making some notes for the pattern, so if you see me scribbling, pay no mind. Currently this pattern is available only in the project box, and so it's a like twofer, but as public has gotten it, it's going to be separate. Like you'll be able to make a backpack or you'll be able to make a handbag, and then if you want to follow some of these videos, you can kind of make it both. So for the straps, I'm going to do 4 inches by, I don't even know. Oh crap. Is that how I want to do it? Because I can also do with locking sliders. I think I do want that. So these would be 4 inches by 18 or so. So we'll do that, because then I can just cut it out of this, and then we're gonna need webbing. Isn't this fun? No, I'll probably cut this out. All right, and then I have this ruler here that is 8 inches wide, so I can go ahead and cut both of my straps at once. I don't need a crossbody strap, and so I can cut it straight out of that. And then if you want to pad your straps, you can add a little bit of foam. That is a fresh rotary blade. So if people want foam, it would be 1 inch by 17 of foam. Okay. So these are my straps. I've got a bin here that I'm going to set everything into. And now I can start on my accent pieces. We are going to need one handle for the backpack version, and that's actually going to be 9 by 1.5. Yeah, I like that. By 1.5. And then we can tape down the center. Okay, we're not going to be doing the crossbody, our strap connectors. So I need to figure out what kind of color blocking am I gonna want. So there is that coloring page, and I do think I want like the print, maybe at the top and the bottom and the green in the middle. So we'll do it that way, which means I do want my connectors to be this. So I am only going to need 2 connectors. 2 connectors. So that's going to be 2 by 4. I have another roll, so I don't mind, but I'm going to wait on that. I said exterior top. Haha, perfect. Oh my god. So I need 2 top pieces. I might also make my zipper tabs the floral. I think that'll be kind of fun. So 2 top pieces. Exterior back middle, exterior front middle is going to be the green, and so I can cut my exterior bottom. And these have that corner cut out. Okay, so on the bottom pattern piece, you're gonna have the strap connector. Oh no, okay, we need 4. No, we only need 2. Markings. Yes. Okay. And so I've got this scrap here that I think I can get. Yes, yes. Okay, there's my 2. Woo. 2 strap connectors. All right, and so this, my bottom, we're going to use a ruler to mark out the squared bottom. And that is listed in the cut chart, or of course it's on your pattern piece. And this is just a little bit. Going to be for both pattern pieces on the bottom. This print really isn't directional, so I don't have to worry about that. I am not adding any interfacing to my pattern pieces. I really don't think you need it. But if you prefer some interfacing, like maybe on the bottom, just make sure that all of that is out of your seam allowances, because that would be bad if not. So there's my exterior bottom. Now we can work on our zipper tabs. Need a ruler just a little bit bigger. Okay, so I need 3 zipper tabs. And if for some reason you just want the front of your bag to be one big zipper pocket, you don't have to section it off. That is not included in the instructions, but it's just like a little tip. If you're not a fan of that big or the sectioned pocket and you'd rather just one big one, you could do that. Okay. 3 zipper tabs. I think the base of the bag I want to try and do in that green. And then we have our lining top, so I can go ahead and cut that. And I am going to use my print because this vinyl is not too thick for it. It'll give some nice structure without being too much. So that's my lining top. And I'll go to this side for the other part. There we go. Okay. And then the other thing I need is the backpack flap. And I'm probably going to do the flap out of, like, both pieces out of this. Like the top and bottom, essentially. And there's plenty of this here, so it won't be a problem. I think the green would be nice, but I do want quite a bit of the print showing. And then I'm going to mark out my zipper box. Only on one of those pieces, and then on the other piece is where your magnetic snap placement is going to go. And keep in mind, if you are picky about your print direction, you'll want to reverse it for the lining so that when you open the flap, the print is in the right direction, if that's important to you. Okay. And I could cut this out. And you can use scissors if you prefer. I'm just going slowly around the edge. It really doesn't take much pressure if you have a fresh blade. I'm trying to think if I have like a tip for cutting with a rotary cutter in this way. I think even pressure, a little bit of confidence, and then I'm watching the line and just moving the rotary cutter with it. So I'm sure it's not perfect, but it's not bad. And I definitely remember when I used to cut out everything with scissors. It does take quite some time. Okay, so this measures that. So I'm just gonna mark the center all the way down. And then 1 inch up is our snap placement. So there's that part of our flap. And then it's up to you if you want to cut this with scissors or rotary cutter. What I would do is just lay my ruler up against that pen line and go from edge to edge as close as I can without going over. Repeat that on the other long side. And then take my scissors and just carefully trim up to the pen line and then over. And now if you prefer to add an overlay to this, you absolutely can. Like, let's say you want to use woven fabric for your flap, you can totally do that. You would just want to cut an overlay. Ooh. That is 10, oh wait, maybe not 10 wide, sorry. Anyway, you want to add 3/4 of an inch all the way around that measurement. That is my preference. You could do smaller, like 1/2 an inch if you wanted, but I feel like 3/4 of an inch really gives a lot of space. But that is our flap with our zipper overlay, or not with our zipper overlay, where we'll be adding a zipper pocket, no overlay. All right, there's that. So just looking through, I don't think there's much else I need to cut out of this. I could do my zipper pocket overlay for the lining. I don't need my base. Oh, my zipper panel. I can do that all out of the lining fabric. Lining main, zipper, lining, zipper pocket. We did the flap. I don't need the crossbody strap. I did my strap connectors. I did my handle. Okay, so the exterior back middle is gonna be the green. Yeah, I'm gonna do my overlay in the solid green since I'm using the print inside too, and that's gonna be a lot. A little too much. Okay, I think I can get my base out of this and my other pieces out of that. So I'll go ahead and start by cutting out my base. Yeah, should be good. And if you want to add some structure to the base of your bag, you can cut out stabilizer that is 1 inch smaller than the measurements given. So you would just -1, and that's the size you'd want to cut that to. So there's my base. Okay, so exterior back middle. Oh yeah, and I want to get this overlay piece cut out of this as well. And I should be able to right up there. And keep in mind, one of these middle pieces is a 1/2 an inch shorter. Oof, this is gonna be so nice. Okay. So this is my back. And I can clip these together because I don't need to do anything special, but it's the front that you may not want to clip together just yet. So that's my back. And then if you want to make it into a little stack, like, and then there's your, nope, that's a strap. This is my top. It can get confusing because all these pieces are roughly the same size, except for this one, but it's really fun the way it comes together. That's my back. And then my exterior front middle, like I said, it's a little bit shorter. So be careful that you're cutting it accurately. Otherwise, things could get weird. Just saying. Okay, and then I have room for my overlay here, which is exciting. Okay, I think I'm good to clip both together. So that's what I'm gonna do. There's that. There's that. We'll cut out the overlay. If you want to, you can edge coat this piece. If you want a very thick overlay, you could cut out 2 pieces. If you prefer or are not using vinyl, you could cut one out of interfacing and cut one out of your exterior fabric. Use 1/4 inch around, snip the curves and turn it, like slice a little hole through the interfacing, turn it, and then iron it so it fuses together. And then you have like a woven overlay with no raw edges. Totally up to you. But I have written it for a non-fraying material. And even if you don't have an edge coat, like I've seen Nicole from Sonar use Mod Podge on her raw edges to really seal them and give them a finished look. And this curve was a little too small for me to feel like risking with my rotary cutter, so I am doing it by hand. And I'm turning the material and my scissors to kind of help make it as smooth as I can. And then you can just take a lighter gently to those raw edges. Ooh, I'm so excited. It's my first time getting to make one with like the pattern pieces. It's just cool. It's pretty cool. Okay, so there's my exterior front middle, my backpack flap overlay, or yeah, the backpack overlay. And now I need to cut out my zipper pocket overlay. And so I cut it out at the measurements given, and then I'm marking 3/4 inch from either side. I do believe there is a pattern piece included for this though, if you don't want to cut it by hand. And then I'm measuring 3/4 inch down, slicing from line to line, and then repeating on the other side. And of course they have tons of templates for this as well. I have just found, again, probably in watching Nicole from Sonar, how she does it, and it's just with the measurements and you're just like zoop zoop. Practice makes perfect. Practice makes pretty good. So there's that overlay for our lining. And that's it for the vinyl, because the vinyl, our exterior, are these 2 lines. So I can just make a little pile, and then we can move on to our lining. So I've got this waterproof cotton here. It does not require any interfacing, which is exciting. And we'll get it cut out. I'm gonna start cutting out the lining. And this too, you can use the pattern pieces if you want, but it really is a ton of rectangles and squares, etc., other than your backpack flap lining. So we'll get started on that. I still need to pick out a matching webbing as well. I was thinking about it and I was like, ooh, I did not think about webbing to match. We're gonna need that. All right. So I've got a 13 by 13 ruler, and this is perfect for cutting out the main lining while on the fold. Once I verify those measurements, yeah, okay. And so what I will do is I'm gonna cut out basically well, it's a nice square edge. If you don't have a good square edge, you could cut out the 13 by 13 and then trim it down to size. So there is one. These do need cutouts along the bottom edge, just like the exterior bottom. And then if you were to choose to not have a zipper panel closure, you technically don't have to with the backpack, but it's nice for extra security. Like I said, you could choose not to. And I'm just going to continue with this fold. And just make sure you're taking half of the measurement so that you know where to line up that fold. And again, the bottom is square enough. I think it's not a big deal. And then keep in mind, we still need to cut out a base for the lining of this bag as well. I know some of my other patterns don't have a base. They're just a square that, like, they're just two that come together, but not this one. I just liked the look of the base inside. So there's this. And I'm clipping the top lining while I'm here, just so I'm kind of keeping my pieces organized. So there's our lining main two pieces. I'm looking up and I'm gonna go ahead and cut my base out as well while I'm here. And I can use my 13 by 13 ruler again and just cut that out, including the selvage, and then trim that off. And it's crazy too, because originally the measurement for the base was the same. Well, it was 12 by 5 instead of 4 way back in the day. And then as I've learned more about sewing and how pieces should fit together, I was like, ooh, that is very wrong. That's interesting. All right. So then we've got our zipper panel that we need to cut. 4 pieces that are the same size. Now, if you prefer a single zipper panel piece and you like to fold it over, like in Knotted Threads Co. patterns or Lavender and Twine, I believe, you can do that. But I did not do that. So I'm gonna use my 12 by 2.5 ruler to cut out these pieces. You could cut it as a big chunk, but I'm gonna cut it separately just so I ensure each piece is the right size. And then if you wanna just use print on the top, or if you wanna find a solid color that matches, you can do that. If you like a stiffer zipper panel, you could absolutely add a little bit of interfacing out of the seam allowance. But I really like the way this one feels, and it's so small anyway that I really don't think it needs the interfacing. Dang, just that little scrap. And you can use this scrap to stabilize your snap pieces. Just saying, you don't have to use a stabilizer, you could just use the fabric. All right, so I need one more of those. Dang it. I think I'll get it from over here. And And to make it easier on myself, I'm probably just gonna cut 2 by 12 and cut it down. There are those 4 pieces, and while you're here, if you want, you could mark and measure 1 inch in from every short end. But now we're going to cut out our exterior front zipper pocket. This is a larger size, so I'm going to take my larger ruler. And this doesn't have to be perfect because it's the lining of a zipper pocket. And you're never gonna know if something's a little bit off. So we do need 2 of these pieces. So I'm just moving over to another squared off part of my fabric. And we're cutting 2 the same size, but one ends up being about 1 inch shorter because of seam allowances and your zipper tape, but I don't trim it down because it adds extra stabilization to the front of the bag. So I don't trim that down later on. So then our lining zipper pocket and then our flap. So this looks like a good place for our flap because I don't think it's definitely not the size we need otherwise. And I think so long as you have a nice straight top edge, how perfect this next curve is not important. You're gonna actually end up trimming down one of them anyway. So I think you'll be okay if it's not absolutely perfect. So there's that. I've got another little section up here. I'll measure it to see if I can get our other zipper pocket. Not quite, so I'll go ahead and cut my flap out of this area. Goodness. But otherwise, we're just about done. I just need to get webbing and some zipper tape. Well, then my hardware technically. But then we're gonna sew. The sewing will be in a separate video. I just find it easier to separate them, but I hope you enjoyed cutting this out with me and you learned a little bit about cutting. I definitely think having multiple rulers in various sizes is so incredibly helpful, but I know that that's not always practical for everybody. Okay, so I am measuring the zipper pocket. I almost said it out loud. It's like, it's fine, but, and again, this does not have to be perfect. I did make it a square so that if you are a beginner, it would be much easier. To differentiate, because you don't have to worry about what side is what. It's just a square. So you'll be okay with whatever side you go with. And that's it. Pretty quick, honestly. Like I said, we just need to add need to cut our webbing pieces. You're gonna need 2 smaller and 2 longer, and some zipper tape and some hardware. If you decided you wanted to add strap connectors to the top of the bag as written in the pattern, instead of using like these anchors here, you'll just cut out 2 additional strap connectors. So you'd be cutting 2 or 4. That's pretty much it. I like to include a lot of possibilities in my patterns, and I know that's confusing, but hopefully it helps you learn how to become a more advanced bag maker and able to make changes to patterns on your own. So I hope you'll join me to sew it, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.